Welcome to the Pick Your Brain podcast from the demented minds of the TLEV YouTube channel. My name is Thomas.
And I am Josue.
And we are here, episode 13, lucky
Ooh,
number 13.
yeah.
And it is also the last Tuesday before Halloween. It's actually the day before Halloween when this goes up.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I think there's nothing else for us to do but talk a little bit about our overall review of the haunt season that we had.
And might I say, this is actually probably the best way to do this because we've tried many times in the past.
Yeah.
We've done videos, we've done little skits and stuff like that. But I feel like a podcast, because it can be as long as we want, and we can really just go into detail about everything on our experience of the events.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So here I think we should do a little bit of like a guideline of what exactly we're going to do. We're going to do an overall review of each haunt that we went through. And then at the end, we're going to have 5 categories. The scariest haunt. So like the scariest maze or haunted house.
Okay, I like that.
And then the most fun maze that we went through. Ooh. So it doesn't have to be the same thing. It could be the same thing. I don't know.
It depends.
The cringiest haunt that we went through.
Ooh.
And the overall, oh goodness, what was the other 2 that I had?
Wow, so prepared.
I know, I'm really not prepared. I had 4.
Hey, that's just showbiz, baby.
You know what? We'll just keep to those 3, and if we have more,
we can always add. We can always add. That's the beauty of a podcast.
So, also before we go any further, I do have a quick announcement for all of you that if you enjoyed our Horror Made Here opening, where we made fun of Friends,
we didn't make fun of Friends. We immortalized their souls with us. We did them a favor.
We did. There we go. Like, in case you didn't know what that show was before, when we went to Horror Made Here, and we'll talk more about that experience, we recreated an opening sequence where it took us like an hour to film, and
but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and instead of calling it Friends, we call it Horror, and now we have that as a T-shirt. You can wear your very own horror T-shirt. In the description down below, you can see it right now. It's a pretty cool shirt. Yeah.
Friends and whoever owns the patent to the word horror, please don't sue us.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is incredibly illegal. So, and for SoundCloud listeners, the description will be down below.
Hey, get your shirts because they're gonna look pretty Gucci, and
horror's year round.
Horror's year round.
Horror is year round.
Horror is not an October
just like
thing.
Friends. Friends are year round.
Yeah, that's right. You can, you can buy that box set at Target for like $40.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, dang.
I just made that up.
Oh, okay. I'm sure there is one.
I've seen really ridiculous box sets of Friends. So,
really?
Yeah.
Like what do you mean? Like price wise, they're ridiculous.
Price wise, I think I was at like a Barnes and Nobles, and they had like the entire season, or just all
entire
of Friends,
series. Yeah.
And it was like $60-something.
Damn.
Yeah, and I was like, and this was, I want to say, like a few years ago when Barnes and Nobles was like at its peak. So I was like, that's a lot of money for Friends.
Yeah, I definitely want to get the Universal Monsters box set, but that's like $115. I don't have $115 to spend like that.
That's just showbiz.
Yeah. All right, so let's just dive in. I think the best way for us to do this is chronologically. Okay. So the first one that we went to was, of course, Halloween Horror Nights. So Halloween Horror Nights, I just want to say before going to Halloween Horror Nights, this year was exceptional for us in so many ways.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like that's the case for all of these events. And some of them we haven't even done before. But just for the opportunity that we got this year, exceptional.
Exactly. So
sensational, baby.
We will never be able to have a year as amazing as this one, I think, just because this was our first time through so many of these events.
Yeah.
And the first time on the red carpet for the opening of Halloween Horror Nights. But you know what? We're going to try and put that to the side, and we're just going to give our unbiased. Yeah, I know. We're going to try to be as unbiased as possible for this podcast. So, Halloween Horror Nights. The first maze that we did was, of course, Universal Monsters. A fantastic little maze.
Amazing.
So, yeah, it was amazing.
Okay, that was the podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
But no, I think it was a great way to actually start off this year.
Absolutely.
It was
without a doubt, that was probably one of the most best ways to start off Halloween Horror Nights, and also such a great way to end Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, yes. But I'm just talking about like the entire season. What a great way to start the season. It's going through that first. You probably can't do that. Well, actually, by the time you see this, Halloween Horror Nights will be the only one that has a couple more days. All the other haunts are done.
One or two.
Yeah, well, they have 3.
now? Yeah.
Well, because they have actually no 4 in total. Yeah, you're right. 4.
Yeah, so run as fast as you can.
And so then, you know, a couple of the other haunts, Stranger Things, I think was very, very much of a disappointment.
Define disappointment.
Scare-wise,
yes.
And also the Demogorgon. I really did not like the Demogorgon.
But I definitely I get where you're coming from. But I feel like
I did not turn off the AC. Hold up. Keep going.
I feel like the Demogorgon is included in the fear aspect of that maze because and you know I've talked with you know the group chat and with many people that have gone to the event and have reached out to me and wondered what my opinion was, and I asked them the same question: what did you think about Stranger Things? And it's always the same question, or it's always the same answer. It's really fun to look at. The set design in there is incredible. Yeah. They went all out for this maze, and you can see the attention they put into this maze. The scares, though, were very lacking, and it's understandable, though, just because the Demogorgon is the only monster, or the monster of the first season of Stranger Things. So going into that maze, that's really the only thing that was going to come out to us was the Demogorgon.
Yeah. But I think for me, the fact that it was, you know, you could see the guy's eyes, you could see his nose. Yeah. It really did look like a man in the suit. But you know what? Not too much to focus because we don't really want to focus on just one haunt in particular since we're covering so many. And we don't want this to be like a 4-hour podcast.
It could.
But we have a movie to go see later on. Right? Oh yeah, we're gonna go see Halloween. So, but speaking of Halloween 4, I think it was a great bringing back of the character. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I've been able and lucky enough to go a few more times than either you or Mr. E have, and
who's gone right now at Halloween Horror
Nights. Actually. But I've had very different experiences in Halloween 4. I have had a really bad experience in it where I've missed every scare and it went out almost disappointed. Like I was almost like really upset. But this last time that I went, which was with my coworkers, wow. Simply, if you can hit that maze with all of its cues, it is something else. It is, oh man. It was like all the scares are on point. The actors, I mean, my God, some of the best frights I've had at the event was in Halloween 4.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, what else? I mean, like, we didn't do Walking Dead, so
yeah, but I mean,
it's pretty much the same.
I'll go through it when Halloween Horror Nights is over.
Yeah,
it'll be the same thing.
What else from the top lot? No, that was pretty much it for the top, and then we went into. Then we did Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat, I think, was a great. And a lot of people had like issues with the fact that there was like the little title cards in between scenes. I was okay with that.
I was too, especially for somebody who's never seen Trick or Treat, which I don't want to say is a majority of the people going to the event, but definitely that is a movie that's kind of like it has its cult following,
sure,
and it has its select people that you know absolutely love that movie. And I know, like, for example, when I went with my coworkers, none of them have seen the movie.
Oh,
so for them, Trick or Treat was kind of just like a random set. But the title card did not only did it help them understand the maze a little bit better, but it also helped when they thought back to it. They were like, "Oh, do you remember that scene in the principal part of the event?" Which I thought was a great idea because, you know, thinking about it afterwards, like it gives guests and everybody a reason to like, or like I guess like a little nod to talk back about, you know, it's like, oh, the principal part or the quarry scene.
I mean, it makes it more memorable. Okay,
exactly.
That's cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a great way to think about it. What else? There was Poltergeist. Poltergeist loved Poltergeist.
Yeah, absolutely.
The set design, the fact that it looked exactly like the house, like to the fact that Mr. E and I, when we were going in, we were like, okay, if it doesn't have this little window on the side of the house, then they didn't do the research. Yeah, then we're not going through. And it was there, so of course we went through because that meant that they had done their research. They came out to Simi Valley. They had looked at the house,
which is weird because you used to live very close to the house, and so to think that you're like that close to
at one point in my life I would have been that close to them. That's one thing to think about. Side note, when I did film that part of when the snap went with the announcement, there's a part because I went like towards sunset.
Okay.
And
golden hour, baby.
Yeah, right. And the gentleman, I had already told him, like I had told him that I was going to film. Like if he comes into frame at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like a split second because I try to edit it as much as possible. So because the window is wide open, and he kind of looks out to see what I'm doing. But if he had come just a little bit earlier, it would not have worked, the gag. But I think it worked because so he was curious.
TLEV out there filming stuff in front of my lot.
So, but oh well, I don't live there anymore, so
exactly.
Not my problem. But yeah, Poltergeist, I think the scares were great.
Definitely. And I've heard a lot of complaints about the facade, not because of how it looks, but definitely everybody has to understand that these facades are temporary. They at the end of the event they have to take them down. And I like even on Twitter we started getting notifications that like, oh, some of the stuff started breaking, and like you could see like the mailbox was made of cardboard and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
And so it was like a few people reached out and asked us like, yo, what's up with that? And it's just like you have to understand that again these houses are temporary. So a few wear and tear, and that just happens naturally with you're getting so much foot traffic through these houses in just one night. Now imagine the entire event. So wear and tear is bound to happen. So I really feel like wear and tear, you can't count it off if you go later on in the event,
Yeah. I will say that Horrors of Blumhouse was, it's what we expected. We went through it. Okay.
There wasn't anything very
memorable.
Yeah, there you
go. The first Purge surprised me.
Yeah, me too.
It was actually kind of good.
Yeah. No, I definitely did have a lot of fun in the first Purge. There was quite a few mazes, or quite a few scares that were pretty good in that mannequin scene, though.
Yeah, that was, I have to say, probably one of the best scares at the event this year. And that's surprising that it comes from the first Purge, one of the best scares of the year. But I think that overall the mazes this year is kind of what we saw last year, where there were like half of them really, really good and the other half were kind of like a letdown. So but I guess that's what happens when you have, it's not like they increase the number of properties like Orlando did. Like I'd be really curious to hear from anybody in Orlando that comparing this year to last year, if the addition of 2 houses made it like
worth it,
yeah, like
even like harder to get through all the mazes.
Yeah,
because that's what I've heard. Like what is it, the Tim Tracker, he's always saying that it's very difficult to get through all these houses if you don't buy like front of the line on one night to go through like 7 or 8 mazes, something like that.
They have 10 mazes.
No, I'm saying like regularly, like before the additional 2.
Sure, yeah.
He was like, it's pretty hard to get it, and then they were worried that the extra 2 now makes it even more difficult to experience everything on one night.
Yeah. Well, anybody who goes to Orlando, let us know down below what your thoughts were about the addition of these 2 houses. The scare zones, I think, were great. Toxic Tunnel was just on par from last year.
Toxic Tunnel. Shout out to my boys out in Toxic Tunnel.
Hell yeah.
You guys are crazy. Yeah, you know who you guys are. You guys are good. You guys are good.
I will say that of the 3, no, because we had like 4. Of the 4, the most disappointing was Trick or Treat.
Yeah. I would. I'm like trying to like debate that because I would say, and it's just merely visually, I would say both Trick or Treat and Hell's Harvest are disappointing. Hell's Harvest literally has nothing but those 2 like
the speaking bones skeletons, dude.
The speaking bones, and then where the dancers used to be.
Oh yeah.
They have those two guys, and that's about it. But like scare wise, I definitely think Hell's Harvest was fantastic, and even Trick or Treat to an extent. The Wolf Girls are very like on point. But yeah, I guess I will agree with you in saying that Trick or Treat is definitely.
For me, it was just I don't know if it's because of all the construction that they're doing in the street where like the England street. I forget the name, the term, but like that would have been a perfect street for Trick or Treat or for Hell's Harvest, because I feel like both of those scare zones were cannibalized because they are trying to occupy the same space essentially.
Yeah. There was times where you would see Hell's Harvest people inside of the Trick or Treat zone, and then you would see Trick or Treat people inside of the Hell's Harvest zone. But again, like for everybody or for any of you who are like, oh well, how can you tell what zone's what? There really is no telling.
No.
I guess my best judgment was like if it's past the Starbucks, that's Trick or Treat.
Exactly,
if it's before the Starbucks, it's Hell Harvest.
Yeah, there you go. That was the Starbucks was the drawing, was the border. Holidays in Hell, I think was a fantastic throwback.
Honestly, I want to say it felt just like the Gauntlet, if not a bit better than the Gauntlet that we had for when the Purge came. Or when one of the many times that the Purge has come.
Yeah, which year?
I think it was almost as good as a maze. I would say I was definitely great experiences.
Yeah.
And one of my memorable moments is actually from Holidays in Hell, and it was during the I think it's the Day of the Dead scene where it's like all black light.
Yeah,
and it's right before Thanksgiving. And the skeleton guy had run past me, and I started looking at the turkey pilgrim, which I was excited for, the turkey lurkey.
Heck
and I'm like, hey, it's the turkey lurkey. Didn't even notice the Day of the Dead guy came back, and I was filming at that moment, and he goes in front of my face, and I let out the biggest yell. Oh my god, it was probably one of my favorite scares I've had in a really long time, other than Lockjaw.
Oh, Lockjaw.
It's on par.
Lockjaw is iconic, that's why. So now just to talk briefly about Six Flags Fright Fest. Spoiler alert, even though it is the most successful of all the videos that we did this haunt season, it was actually only Mr. E who went because we were both very busy that day. So Mr. E went with his friend, and so that's why you don't actually see us, like it's not an actual vlog. It's more of a highlight reel of the event.
But apparently you guys love that.
Yeah.
So, we might actually have to go next year.
Yeah, we'll go next year because, from what he told me, what the scares themselves are pretty good.
Okay.
There are some for one particular maze that he went through. There was so much fog that he couldn't see the scare actors.
That's
cool.
And
as soon as the fog dissipated, there was a giant Satan devil on stilts that lunged at him. It's actually in the video if you want to look at it. Yeah, so I
have to go back and look at that.
Yeah, he liked that. He said that in terms of course, budget wise, the makeup, there are some characters that look really, really cool. Like Tweak, because he's the best. Tweak, we have some footage of Tweak, of course.
I really wish I'd gotten that when we were like Tweak and he's like sup.
That was awesome. That was at Midsummer, but he told me that the experience was great. Hell's Fest, I think, was the movie that they had.
Yeah.
He said that because he had never the movie wasn't even out yet, he didn't quite understand it.
But I guess you could even say that about going to HHN, Crimson Peak.
True, yeah, you could say that about a lot of properties. I think what for him was that a lot of strobe effects. He wasn't a big fan of the strobe effects. Scare zones, he really liked the scare zones. The scare actors were very interactive, and unlike Halloween Horror Nights, they actually talk to you. It seems like Halloween Horror Nights
is the only one.
It's the only one from our experience.
Literally the only one that they don't
but they don't talk to you. They don't interact with you.
Yeah,
they interact with you, but they just don't. They're not vocal.
Right.
And so he said overall, he'd recommend it. But again, it was an exceptional experience. It was the opening night. It was the media night.
And I think to just add one more point to that whole Universal is the one that people don't get to talk to you. I definitely feel it's just because Universal does these properties, these famous properties. So like, let's say for example, I don't know, throw like Creed for example, or
Creed,
Krampus. No. Mr. Krieg. His voice is very it's definitely like kind of like a smoker kind of voice. So I feel like because they have different people playing him throughout the night, you can't really have him say anything. Obviously, like in the audio you can, but you can't have him like speak to you or anything like that because it would sound different every time. And you can use that in the scare zones as well. You know, there was the granted the kids don't talk or anything like that, but you know, in previous scare zones that are based on IPs and stuff like that, you can't have
like
such
the Purge like scare zones that we've had.
But I feel like the Purge is
we've had but it could also just be like, what rights do they have? Like right, like they don't want to get into a legal problem. Like think of it like, instead of it being Lionsgate or Paramount, think of it like people are dressed up as the Disney characters, and then
somebody drops an F-bomb.
It's like Disney be like, whoa, hold the heck up. That's
that's not Snow White.
No, Snow White.
That's Snow Eggshell.
Yeah, exactly. We don't hang out with her. Okay. So
Savage.
So but let's talk about the next one that we actually did, and that's why I'm wearing this shirt, because exactly this is called My Teacher Talks Funny, and I wore this when we went to Knott Scary Farm. Knott Scary Farm. Wow. They are at a very, very different level, I think, from any of these other events. Like, I think each of these events are very much, I thought they would be like competing against each other, because like there's always been that beef, like, oh, Knott's is better. No, HHN's better. No, Horror Made here is the best. Get out of here, you.
But yeah,
but they seem like they're just like going these different paths. Like they all originate from the same idea of making like a home haunt. Yeah. And they've just like skewed in these different areas.
And you know, Knott Scary Farm, for anybody who's not watching the video, I'm staring at the camera directly in the eye. Knott Scary Farm, and anybody who works at Knott Scary Farm, you have my respect. That event's pretty good.
It was a great event. This was one where we didn't go the media night, but we went the following night.
Yeah.
Again, Knott's paid for our tickets.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Shout
discretion.
out to Knott Scary Farm.
Shout out to Knott's Scary Farm for that. But we weren't able to do all of the mazes.
Yeah. We didn't get to do special ops. Is that what it's
called?
Or dead ops?
No,
oh,
goodness.
Special ops.
Yeah.
Special ops infected.
Yeah, there we go.
And
Red Barn.
Red Barn and Pumpkin Eater.
Yeah, we didn't do. Yeah, we were about to do Pumpkin Eater.
We had to use the bathroom.
Yeah, y'all had to use the restroom, and then I was like, ugh. But like Pumpkin Eater was like 5 minutes. We had just got there.
We could have been walked in.
We could have.
We should have gone back.
But honestly, I think Dark Ride being our first taste of Knott Scary Farm
blew me
was
away.
a great, great way to start that experience, because holy cow, like that was dark.
It was a ride.
And it was emphasis on a dark ride being the dark part, because we could not see them at all until we were just like face to face with the actors. I think one of the best scares was that as I was about to move the curtains, the actor went right this way, and I was like, okay. And then you knew he was gonna turn the corner to get me on the other side, and you didn't warn me.
Me and Mr. E both saw the guy who scared Thomas. He's like, right this way, and Thomas flips out. He's like, oh my god, okay, and he's like, I'm gonna get him around. And me and Mr. E have the biggest smiles on our faces, like, he's gonna get him. Yeah, he gonna get him.
Yeah.
Literally, Thomas turns the corner. He's like, I'm safe. Hello.
But yeah, like these actors are talking to you the entire time. It's just so interactive. I think it was a great dark ride. And then also, of course, shout out to our favorite clown.
Yeah.
Cardiac is the best. Yeah, you know who you is, Cardiac.
Shout out Cardiac. You the man or female. No one knows.
It doesn't matter. Cardiac's cardiac.
Cardiac's cardiac.
Cardiac doesn't go by that binary system. Cardiac is in 2018. Cardiac's in the now.
Dude, Cardiac's hip.
Cardiac's
but I will also give shout out to Go Back to Universal.
To Go Back to Horror Nights. Yes, that was our second favorite. Both of you are just like right there. You made our nights.
Yeah.
I will say that the hanging was great.
Yeah.
I think it was a great, like, I don't know if it would substitute Bill and Ted because like, it seems. Yeah.
I definitely feel just because obviously Universal is more of a movie studio production wise.
Sure.
They do have back when they had it, it was at the top notch, but definitely the hanging. It brought back Bill and Ted vibes so hard that like I was almost nostalgic watching it.
It was,
and
great.
Some of the jokes are pretty funny.
Yes.
So the writing on the hanging is fantastic.
I just for Knott's fans, let us know: is it always that emphasis on fighting? Like there was like I just kept panning back and forth. Like there's a fight scene over there between Black Widow and Lara Croft. There's a fight scene between Grimace the Thanos and Pennywise with T'Challa, and then with Han Solo, and it's like
it's all over the place. And then the Incredicoaster's in there.
I think that was fun.
And Hang Time
and Incredicoaster are fighting. That was cool. But yeah, it was very violent. I was like, whoa. So I don't know. Let us know if that's always like that. Yeah. Then we did Shadowlands. Shadowlands was okay.
There were parts of Shadowlands that we had missed the scare. Like there's these like hallways where the actress or actor lunges out at you, and as we walked by, we saw them walking back to their position. So we were like, man, we missed that. But we did get some really good scares, and definitely the kind of end part where the samurais are flying in the air.
I wish, I don't know what it is, but I wanted more of that.
Yeah, and it's just because like the room is so big, and you got these like samurais coming down from bamboos. That was insane.
That was really cool. That was really, really well done. So props to all who were in Shadowlands.
And then we went to.
What did we do after that?
We went to the new one, The Depths.
The Depths.
The Depths.
Oh my goodness. I can already tell you, so spoiler alert, this is Mr. E's favorite of the entire season, The Depths, and I wish he was here to talk about it. That was his favorite
of the entire
season, because not only did it have the awesome animatronics of that octopus
and the shark
and the shark and the fact that you
come on, I just got that song out of Baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do. Now it's stuck in your head.
Damn right, that's what we do here in the Pick Your Brain podcast. But also,
pick your brain do 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 do. Pick your brain do 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 do. Can we make this like an intro?
If you want to make that the intro, we could do that. But the side of the ship that like ship is sunken in and it's shaking as you're walking through. He really liked that. But of course, the most iconic part of that entire scare was the lights that made the murky water, and then the fish guy, and then he lunged at it. I loved that. He loved that too. The Depths, I hope, really comes back next year. I really, really hope that. And then after the what are your thoughts of The Depths?
I definitely just, The Depths is probably one of my favorite mazes this entire haunt season. It was something new. Definitely something completely I've never experienced before. The animatronics, the giant octopus. I think the shark was probably my favorite. The one that would come out of it.
That was cool.
Like it almost blocked the path. I was trying to like get around. I was like, oh my god, it's gonna eat me. But yeah, definitely the animatronics, the actors in there, and just the overall feel. The storytelling that went into this maze is overwhelming. But definitely, I think for me, the biggest one we're gonna talk about a little later, but I definitely, The Depths is one of my favorites of Not Scary Farm and of my haunt season.
Okay, wow, yeah, and so then after that because it was right across from it, and for some reason it had like a really short line. Dark Entities, Dark Entities. I think
it was almost like a walk on.
It was. I mean, there's some parts of Dark Entities that were just like, it was fun to just be there.
Yeah,
it wasn't. I don't think it wasn't until like you hit the half point of that maze that it really started to become like jump scares.
Because the very beginning of Dark Entities, for those of you who haven't been or didn't get to experience it, the kind of the beginning is it's just kind of like small storytelling. It's kind of, you're still kind of like on Earth, and the scientists are like kind of jumping out at you, and you're just like, hey, you need to get to space like real quick. There's some stuff going on. We got beef up there.
Very scientific.
We got
terms.
space beef. And then you go through the portal, and it vibrates and everything. And up until that point, probably a little bit after that, is when the scares start happening. And from that point on till the very end, it gets really good. But that very beginning, like third of the maze, is just kind of like, okay, when do the scares begin?
It's just like cool. It's cool to look at, and so I was just filming all of that. But oh well. Then after Dark Entities, we did Paranormal Inc.
Which, oh my god, Paranormal Inc. is amazing.
It was my first little taste of what you described as the claustrophobia.
Yeah, the compression walls.
The compression walls.
Or claustrophobia walls. I've heard them called it.
I hate that so much.
That's the point.
I didn't realize I would ever have that feeling of claustrophobia before, but oh my goodness. Because this was like the beginning, because then in Dark Harbor, we experienced that a lot.
Yeah, I definitely think Dark Harbors is just a little better.
I hated it. I hated all of it. I hated it so much. But yeah, then Paranormal Inc. was great. We're very, very biased about Paranormal Inc. Because of the person that was in Forrest. Shout out to Forrest. You did a great job in that. Then I forget what his character name is, and that's
it's like, God, Forrest, you're gonna be mad.
Forrest, yeah, but we just know it's you, Forrest.
We know it's you, Forrest. We were going through that maze. We're like, Forrest,
yeah,
and like the lady at the beginning, she's like, go find Barry.
Oh, okay.
It's Barry, okay. And she's like, go find Barry, go find Barry. We're like, we're gonna go find Forrest.
But yeah, great little maze. I like how there's a part where it splits up to both sides, and then it comes back in together, and you experience both sides. I
really like the effect after the compression wall, where you're in so it's like a dilapidated asylum, and then you go through the compression wall, and it takes you back in time to when the asylum was working, and you've got like the nurses there, and then the minute you go into the hallway everything looks cool, and then it's like
it's just fake walls.
Yeah, it's like a screen, like the scrimmage or something like that, whatever it's called, and they throw light, and then you get to see the dilapidated
exactly
building
exactly. You see the corpse there as well, so that was really well done. And then after Paranormal Inc.,
my all-time favorite maze, and I think it's probably this is my all-time favorite maze, and it's just because when I came out I was messed up. Like I didn't even talk to you for like 5 minutes because this maze literally messed me up. For those of you who don't know, and it's also very ironic, I am deathly afraid of the dark. If I can't see my hand very close to my face, I'm flipping out, which is ironic because I go in through all these dark houses and stuff like that. But there's always some sort of light that kind of guides my way.
Yeah.
Trick or treat,
lights out.
Trick or treat, lights out. Oh my God! I was telling Thomas, I was like, "You think the flashlight's powerful?" They give us this little baby wimpy flashlight. And I'm not saying no beef knots. Like, I was down for it because obviously even that, like, I couldn't even like see in front of me.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh man. I literally at one point Thomas was like, look at this, and I was just like, get out. And then I remember the lady was like, thank you for coming. Like, she's collecting the flashlights, and I just like stuffed my flashlight in the box, and I was like, whatever, and I just walked away.
You were just quiet for like 10 minutes after that.
Oh my God.
I will say I'm sorry for all scare actors who were working that, because I was blinding them. Like, I would see the actors lunge and they'd be like, my life. Exactly. So that was I have to apologize to all of you who I blinded, because there was quite a number of people that I blinded.
But my God, shout out to you guys, because that maze was intense.
Yeah. So and I think that pretty much concluded our experience. Oh, then we did Jaguar, and that was
Jaguar.
In terms of scary farm,
I'll tell you what was scary about Jaguar. It was that lady going on afterwards.
Oh yeah.
So we had gone on Jaguar, and we had a great time on Jaguar. As we were getting off, a very intoxicated young lady was getting on after Thomas, and she goes, "Hey, I'm gonna steal your seat." And we're just like, I mean, we're not gonna ride it again, but whatever. And she's like, "Thanks for keeping it warm."
I know, that was like,
it was gross. So funny. I was like, she's gone.
And then, all right, let's talk about
Then
I
we
mean,
had
the scare zones. Yeah, we didn't even really talk about the scare zone.
right.
The goodness,
Carnival.
Yep, we
was,
love
was
that.
really good.
That's where Cardiac's from.
Cardiac. Shout out. What is it? The Hollows?
The Hollows was the first one.
The Hollows was the first. The Hollows was good because it was so dark, and we were like, "Where are we going?" Literally, it was our first that was like our intro, and I definitely I was watching like a few videos of kind of the casting process of Not Scary Farm, and one of the big things that stood out for me was like everybody tries out to be like in the scare zone and stuff like that.
The sliders.
Yeah, no, not sliders, but just in scare zones in general.
Oh, okay, sure.
And because obviously you start off with like in houses and stuff like that, but they were saying like their main focus is like I think it was like the director was like, you guys are the first things the guests experience while walking in, so you guys need to set the mood for the entire night, and definitely going through the Hollows set the mood for the entire night.
Yeah, it felt that way. It really did. What?
We're at 18.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude. I mean, let's just wrap up, just not quickly. Forsaken Lake, I think, was a great addition.
Yeah,
Forsaken
definitely.
Lake.
It was.
And then also,
I mean, you say addition, but all this is new to us.
yes, I know. So Forsaken Lake was great. And then I think all the scare zones were fun. Of course, Ghost Town Streets was great.
Yeah.
Hearing some of the comments from the people as we were walking by was great.
I think, and I feel bad kind of for one of the Forsaken Lake scare actors. There was a guy with a basketball, and he straight up like broke her ankles. He like juked her. He was like, and he like it was impressive to see this like guy just juke an actor. Yeah. But I was also like, damn, she looked mad.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But overall, Not Scary Farm, fantastic. We are definitely going back next year.
Oh yeah.
And then, all right, so next one we did.
Next time we took a nice little trip all the way out
to Long Beach.
Which, for one, I guess that's the first scary part of going all the way out to Long Beach.
The drive?
The traffic.
Oh, God, that was terrifying.
So Thomas and Mr. E actually got there about like 30, 40 minutes before I did.
Sure.
And I would have been on time if it weren't for the fact that I witnessed 2 accidents on the way there, one 15 minutes away from the event itself.
Yeah, that was intense.
But yeah, I was blown away by Queen Mary.
I was terrified. I have never known fear like that entire event. Like, wow. They say that they like are the scariest of all the events. I agree.
Really?
That all of our years in Halloween Horror Nights, I have not been to the point where literally I want to leave a maze. Like in Dark Harbor. There was, I'll talk a little bit when we go into it, but there was all these mazes were just so well done. But like the first one that, like even from the opening scene, like the opening
ceremony, my God. So yeah, for those of you who've checked out our thing, you know they do it every night because I was lucky enough to do it a few more times because I really love this event. Definitely, I didn't think I was gonna like it. I thought this was gonna be like it's outside of the Queen Mary and it's kind of small from what I've heard. So it's not gonna be anything big. I went back 2 more times.
It was, my God, from the part when the captain's like, monsters, do you want them to come in? And you hear the monsters going,
yeah, and they're banging on the walls. It's like, gung, 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 gung. You literally, the captain summarizes it the best. Who else just peed a little bit?
Nope, just me. I'm the only honest one. But, oh my goodness. Then you're inside. The actors are interacting with you the entire time.
It's so fun. It definitely, if you want to feel like you're in a demented carnival, Dark Harbor is the place for you.
Absolutely. I would have to say the first maze that we went through was Carnival and Carnival
Feast.
Oh, no, we did Carnival first.
We did Feast.
No, it was Carnival then Feast.
Was it?
Yeah, it was Carnival then Feast.
Are you sure?
Yeah, positive. Because I'll always remember walking into the line because we walked. We were like, let's just do Carnival. And there was the guy with his little like he was like, it didn't even look like he was walking, it just looked like he was floating up and down the aisle, and it was like and then when we went in and the bearded lady was like, oh, your middle name is Trouble, and then you walk in, it's like, oh, it's not fun anymore. But holy cow, that entire, I mean, Carnival was great. Like, Carnival to me, I think, was very much like on par with, in terms of scares, to Halloween Horror Nights.
I'm pretty sure it's called Circus.
Is it called Circus?
I'm pretty sure it's called Circus.
It might be. Oh,
I'm pretty sure it's called Circus.
Well, we have this little pin, yeah.
It doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure it's called Circus.
My bad, everybody. I'm just like, my bad. Yeah. So Circus, with the Ringmaster. I'm surprised because the way that they sold it to us, or not sold it, but like the way they explained it to us, at Midsummer Scream, I thought we were gonna see the Ringmaster.
Yeah, inside
in the maze, but no.
But it definitely didn't take away from
just
the intensity of these mazes. They definitely.
Like the sounds from some of these characters, like the one who, like the lady who's holding up the door, she goes, ah! And I was like, what? I was like, what?
I like the guy where he's like, hey, I'm just holding this line right here, don't worry about it. Hey, why don't you just go in there, don't look up. And you're just like, okay, and then he lets go and it's just giant metal thing goes, Gah! He's like, oops, my bad.
And also like the bungee jumper who she lunges, she's like, major lock, and it's like, ah. So that was all great, and so like that was fun. I was like, oh, okay, if this is what Dark Herb is gonna be like. And then we did Feast.
Wow.
We did Feast.
We did do Feast.
So at Halloween Horror Nights, and also not Scary Farm, and also from Mr. E told us, it's Fright Fest, the mazes are about 5, maybe 7, maybe 8 minutes long. They're pretty, like, that's usually standard. These people at Dark Harbor,
you sick people.
You sick people. 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes. And
they never ended. You were literally in there for the longest, what seemed like the longest time.
It felt like forever.
And for those of you who are kind of trying to think of a layout, Carnival, some of the mazes are outside of the Queen Mary. Yeah. There are 3 mazes that are actually inside of the Queen Mary, and those being Feast, B340, and Lullaby. Feast was the first one that we went through, like Thomas had mentioned. And my God,
we had no idea at first that we were like, we were just like, what? The person was like, all right, go ahead. And we're like, what? Where's the entrance? And so then that's when you told me about how, this is the event that's like not accessible to
some of the mazes. The mazes on the ship are not accessible for wheelchairs because they go up and down stairs.
And they go up and down stairs. So we climbed up, and then the lady was like, all right, you can go ahead. And of course, me with the camera, right? I go in front of everybody. We were in the ship. We were in the maze. So I not to lessen any of the other areas that we went to, but like not Scary Farm, Halloween Horror Nights, even Fright Fest, they're temporary. And just by like its nature, it feels temporary. Dark Harbor did not feel temporary being in the Queen Mary. It felt too real for me. And so like when we were like halfway through to the part where it was like, get in the grinder, I was like, okay, I'm getting in the grinder. And by that point I have like lost all insanity, and I was just like, there was like a peak of fear where you're just like, you can't be any more scared. So you're just gonna be like, okay, this is where I am.
This is how it goes.
And that's where I was.
Baby.
I never realized I could hit that point until Feast, and it just kept going. And then we got fired at one point, and then there were still more scare actors who were like, "What are you doing here? We just got fired." And so then we left, and I was like, "Wow, that was really scary." And then we did B340, which was just equally as scary.
Yeah, it was. Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, B340 was. I want to say probably B340 is my favorite
of that event.
of the event, okay. And it's mostly because of that hallway scene.
Which one?
Oh yeah. Boom. Oh, so for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, again, Thomas is up with camera first, and there's this hallway in B340. Again, this is on the Queen Mary.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dark hallway, and it seems like we're somewhere under the ship because there's pipes everywhere.
Sure.
And we keep walking, and the music's going dun 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 dun, and it's building up and building up and building up, and our anxiety is like, okay, this hallway's going on forever, and I can't see anything, and I'm freaking out because it's dark, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel,
and it was flashing like strobe
and
light.
we were like, oh, okay, cool, that ends right there. And then the music goes dun 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 dun, and we're just like, okay, what's supposed to happen? Boom! A light turns on above our heads. There is an actor holding onto the wall, and he's like, oh, and we flipped and we just ran. We were like, go.
Yeah, so we went. It was right after that scene when there was a scare actor on the floor. I walked past him because I was like, I didn't want to disturb him. He was doing his job, and I was gonna let him scare someone else, not me. There was an exit sign. And I was like, oh, okay, we're finally done. Because remember, these are like incredibly long. Mm-hmm. And then Josue and Mr. E were like, no, Thomas, it keeps going. And I went, no. I was done. I was so done with being scared. It was so intense. It was like, I don't know why, but it was just so freaking intense. And then Lullaby. Oh,
Lullaby was insane.
God,
Scary
Lullaby.
Mary, you've earned your name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is creepy as hell.
We rewrote history.
You're right. We stopped Scary Mary.
We did, because Scary Mary was like, Teddy wants me to go swimming, and we were like, Teddy, no, listen to Teddy, he's playing with you. And so the whole maze disappeared afterwards.
Yeah, the whole maze got Thanos snapped.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened. Because, but I think what was truly terrifying about that was that there was a bar. It was just right there. We just walked in. It was like, wow. Like, we didn't know if those were real people or not. If we were just looking around like, what?
And for those of you who don't know, Dark Harbor has bars in their mazes. Some of them have bars in their
secret
bars, and you have the chance to either find a token in the maze, interact with the actors to get a token, or you can just find it randomly, which happened to us in Dead Rise. We didn't have a thing.
Oh yeah.
But the guy just let us in. But
it's okay. Let it out.
Always out then in. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, there you go.
They have these bars, and each bar has a specialty drink, and each one has something unique that you can do in it. And we happened to walk into Lullabies, and we were just like, "What's going on?" I guess we found a secret bar, but we were kind of too in focus with the maze that we kind of just skipped right past it.
I wasn't thirsty. But the scene after the bar was what was really scary for me, because the story behind Scary Mary is that there was this little girl named Mary in 1952 who actually drowned in the first class swimming pool. And right after the secret bar, you see the pool where she drowned. It's right there. And that was too real for me. I was like, oh no. And I think that's what makes Dark Harbor so iconic, was the fact that these were stories based off of real people who actually died, like Samuel the Savage. Samuel the Savage is actually an actual
mystery that was never solved.
He somehow
Hatchet Henry.
Half-Hatch Henry.
Half-Hatch Henry.
And that was so great.
The chef.
The chef actually had burned to death.
Most of these, I guess maybe the ringmaster and the captain are probably...
The captain is based off of a real person, but I don't know so much about the ringmaster or the voodoo priestess. I know that the story of the event
is that the voodoo priestess brings back all these entities.
The captain is using the powers of the voodoo priestess to bring back all these people.
But the voodoo priestess...
But it's really...
Don't try to belittle me.
I'm not belittling you. I just want to make sure that they don't belittle us. But making sure that we get our
y'all
facts straight.
trash.
That's what they're telling us, yeah. And then after Lullaby, we did Intrepid. Intrepid was fun.
Yeah, Intrepid definitely is the very, like, if you're new to the event, definitely hit up Intrepid first because it's a very easy go into maze. The Iron Master.
The Iron Master was so much fun.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's only in at till like the very end.
Yeah.
But the theming, and this was one of the ones that what's his name? The guy from Not Scary.
Oh yes, John Cook. I was gonna say
John Cook. This is one of the ones he did worked on like hands on.
Yeah, him and and Dead Rise.
And you can from like what I've heard, and like even Rick West himself, who's the one of the directors of Midsummer Scream, he's like, yeah, you can definitely feel the John Cook experience in Intrepid.
Oh yeah. It was great. I just love the do you dare to pass? Do you dare? But then go ahead, have some mac and cheese. I was like, that's iconic. That's great. Yeah, he's my favorite now because of that. Iron Master, you're my favorite.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. Yeah. Will say that Dark Harbor was incredibly expensive in terms of food over all of these events. So bring a snack. Eat beforehand and eat after. Don't eat at the event because that was so expensive.
This is a little pricey.
Yeah. But then after Intrepid, Dead Rise, the secret bar was a lot of fun because of the little buttons that we could press.
Yeah, it was very interactive. You can scare people yourself inside of Dead Rise. And we actually got somebody.
We got some people. Yeah, that was fun. But the entire parkour obstacle course part was so much fun.
There's not much of it, you know. It's like a little part, but even just having the option to either walk through or climb up and then go down a slide, it's like I'm gonna go down a slide in a haunted house.
Or go down the fire pole. It's whatever you choose. Yeah,
young man.
But those were all the mazes, and then the character interaction, the captain. So because we were there as media night, we had our own little cabana. The captain came up to us asking, first of all, he told me how he was disappointed that his monsters hadn't killed me yet. So that was reassuring. He said he liked my shirt because I was wearing the
anchor shirts.
Yeah, I was wearing my anchor shirt, and he said how instead of having one of these tokens that I'm showing the camera right now.
It's a little wooden token. It looks like it's maybe a little larger than a quarter.
Yeah. Instead of having one of those, I could just use my shirt to tell someone that the captain sent me to his.
And that if they didn't let us in, go find the captain, and he would have personally walked us in. Yeah.
Honestly, I wish we had done that.
I really wish we had done that too, but the guy was just like, "Yeah, go ahead."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh man, I want the captain." Oh man. But we did see the captains meet with a couple of people, so that was cool. The specialty drinks were kind of cool, except for that particular room because you told me.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously Thomas he's not a big drinker. I guess I'm the drinker of the group. I'm not an alcoholic. First of all, everybody, let's get this straight.
No. But you like to drink.
For the sake of the video, I had to.
Of course.
So we went into Dead Rise, and they had exactly anything for views. We went into the Dead Rise, and their specialty drink was like a Coke, rum, and grenadine, and it was called
Watery Grave.
Watery Grave.
That was good.
Was really good. Yeah, I think I.
But not my favorite drink of the haunt season.
Really?
Not my favorite drink of the haunt season.
Not your favorite drink of the haunt season? No. I'm trying to think of other drinks.
Oh, well.
Party fail. I'm trying to think of other drinks, but
Yeah. That's fine.
That one was really good, and then the one in the captain's secret bar.
I forget what it was called.
Yeah, it was called something. It's something about the boat, but the lady explained to me that it tastes like the rust on the ship because it's like vodka and rum and just all these hard liquors. All mixed into one, and I was like, I don't know if my stomach can handle that right now.
Or do you want it to either? So, but I think where Dark Harbor exceeds more than any of the other events is with those character interactions.
Yeah.
I don't think, and that's not to diminish the accomplishments of these other events because their scare actors are incredible, but the fact that we learned why. Because when we went to Midsummer Scream and we heard people just shouting and screaming when they were so happy to see the captain and the ringmaster,
we didn't understand why. We were just well, they're just your characters. Like, you're not going to see them.
But now we get it.
Now we get it. They're so personal there. And and this didn't happen when me and you went for media night and Mr. E. This happened, I believe it's either the second or third time I went.
Okay.
The monsters, they really care about their work.
Sure.
Not only do they make sure like you're safe at the event, but like, and obviously their job is to scare you. Yeah. But I saw this family, right? This monster runs up and he scares. This family has like a little girl. She's around maybe 7 or 8. He's got slider equipment on, so he like snaps his fingers in front of her and it makes this loud noise. Sure. And she freaks out. And one of the dads starts laughing, which I was like, oh yeah, good one, guy. And the dad asks, hey, can we take a picture of you? And the guy like stops dead in his tracks and he goes, hell yeah. He gets on one knee and the little girl hugs him. Like they hug it out and he like poses and like sticks out his tongue and everything. That's awesome. It was literally like the cutest picture in the world. And like he like waved to her and then went back to go scaring the living hell out of people. Awesome. So you can feel the care that all these interactions at Dark Harbor that they have.
So I guess that's just another on the list of things that we have to do. So Dark Harbor, you're gonna become an annual thing. And now the next one that we did was the one that I was the most excited to go see, because it's like, from what we had heard from Horror Made Here, I just spoiled it. From what we had heard at Midsummer Scream, this event was going to try to really be competitive against the likes of Halloween Horror Nights and the likes of others, and that is Horror Made Here. I have to say, when we were driving to Horror Made Here, I didn't realize just how cool it is to live in the LA area, because we have Halloween Horror Nights right here in Studio City, and then like literally down the hill is Horror Made Here in Burbank, and then just up to Griffith Park is Haunted Hayride, but before then is the Ghost Train. So there's just like this whole little area of all these different haunts that you can do, and I think that's what kind of fuels the competitiveness.
Definitely. I agree with you, and unfortunately I didn't get to go onto the Haunted Hayride, but definitely
you didn't miss much.
Oh wow. That's unfortunate. But definitely living in the Southern California area, we're very fortunate, and like we've Zombie Chris and a lot of people from the East Coast that we know, they've all said like, oh, you guys are really lucky because we don't have that many haunted attractions out here. They've got like Busch Gardens, Hallow Scream, Horror Nights, and Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and I think that's about it. Like of like the big ones.
Well, I mean, there's also, if we're gonna include
SeaWorld
Mickey,
doesn't count.
SeaWorld doesn't count. What about Legoland?
Oh damn,
they got Legoland.
Legoland, fly us out there and we'll cover your event.
Honestly, though, I would love to. Yeah. They look so jinky. They're little characters.
But what I'm trying to say is that we're very fortunate to not only like do this channel that, you know, it's fueled by horror, and we live in such an area that has so many of these amazing horror events. But anyways, going back to Horror Made Here.
Of course. Horror Made Here, first of all, great job for being only the third year, second really to do this style. I think it was in terms of the media part, it was a little bit of chaos. It was a bit chaotic.
Yeah, definitely. You need some more people there.
Yeah, we need more people, or y'all need more people,
or some walkie-talkies,
or just communication is necessary. Yeah. But once we got to the actual event,
it was
the moment we turn the corner and we see the actual layout, because I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm pretty sure Horror Made Here was even smaller than Dark Harbor, and Dark Harbor was pretty small.
Yeah, I would probably bet money that if it weren't for the fact that there's a tram that's located somewhere off of the site where the rest of the event takes place, I would say that probably Horror Made Here is the smallest of the events.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they're, you know, small in like comparison of all these others. No. They definitely pack a punch.
They use their space so well.
Absolutely.
So we, of course, did the first thing that we did was it
knows what scares you.
It knows what scares you,
and it did know.
It did very well with that. Wow, just seeing, like, because even before then there was like the opening announcements to welcome everybody.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
And the characters, as they're announcing it, there was a part where Georgie is like dead right next to Pennywise, and Pennywise right in front of the Neibolt houses doing his little dance that he's now famous for. But even before then, Joker was talking right outside of the asylum.
Yeah, the director is like, "Can you survive the inside of Arkham Asylum?" And then out of nowhere, a voice cuts him off, and it's the Joker himself begging on the gates, and he's like, "That's right, come in and try to see if you'll survive."
Yeah.
And of course, Pennywise does a little dance. They introduce the conjuring house, and you hear the ding and the ding.
Yeah, you hear the little bells.
The bell rings. Then he introduces the Exorcist house, and the Exorcist house almost shakes because of how powerful the bass that they use for the introduction. Oh man, it was so cool.
And then of course right after, then all the characters just start running.
Yeah, they all literally run out, all scream. They literally if killers, which they are.
They is killers.
Yeah, they is killers. They're chasing them around, and you've got the bullies from It running around saying, "Get out of my town, losers!"
Yeah, there we go. There was a lot of that. It was. I just have to say that it was the most. It felt like when we went that night, we were hanging out. It felt like a lot of the time that we were just hanging out rather than going to one of these events where we're in this mindset that we're going to get scared. Let's just make sure to, not ruin and soil our pants. But this was a fun hangout space. I think maybe it was because we went to that the little bar for True Blood, Fantasia, something like that. And that was my favorite drink because they had blood bags that were alcoholic.
That's right.
That was
my
good.
God, those were amazing.
It was, as you put it, smooth.
Yeah, it went down so smooth. It was I don't remember. It was cherry vodka, lemonade, and grenadine.
It went down very, very smooth. And
of course, I think also the event, like you said, felt like we were hanging out not only because we were all there, but also we had the inclusion of Forrest.
Yeah, Forrest was there.
Forrest came out and hung out with us.
Got to see a couple of YouTubers. Got to hang out with fellow YouTubers. That was really cool. And I do have to say that, communication I think was the biggest issue.
Definitely.
For us covering the event, there were times when we were told you're not allowed to film this. Other times where we were told
they were like,
just
go
no
ahead.
flash
just
photography.
No flash photography.
So I wish it had been better communicated to us.
Better communicated to us, and also the rules laid out a bit better. Because we had a kind of a little fiasco with food wise. We were
that as well. Yeah,
we were offered a complimentary food item at the event, but nowhere on the badge did it say that it had to be before the event started.
No, before 8 p.m.
Oh, before 8 p.m. My bad.
That was, or was it 9 p.m.?
Something like that. But we still got it. But
yeah, because they understood.
Yeah.
But so after we went through it was fantastic. A lot of the scenes and the Georgies were great. It was great. Then we did Joker's Asylum. So much fun.
Yeah. No.
That was so much fun.
The design, some of the set design there, and you'd think literally. I think we all thought this isn't gonna be scary. These are DC supervillains. It's gonna be cool to see the Joker, Two-Face, and Harley Quinn and everybody. But it's not gonna be scary. No, there were genuinely there were some good times where I was like, whoa, okay, I did not expect that.
My favorite was at the beginning when we go in and it's Judge Joker and he's like, "You've all been found sane, and that is not acceptable. So you will all spend one night in Arkham." And then he bangs his gavel, and then we go, and then Harley takes us into an elevator, and then a little door opens, and then one of the scare actors comes and scares us. I was like, okay, all right. But we did go multiple times, and I think it was great that we did, because then we got to see all the characters.
We at the first run around we saw Two-Face, the Penguin, and
we saw Riddler, but the Riddler had told us, just keep going.
Riddler.
And you can see us in Attractions Magazine's walkthrough because they filmed us, and I'm kind of upset that they didn't tell us or give us any shout out.
The second time we went was when we saw Two-Face.
No, the second time.
Oh no, we saw
Two-Face. The second time was when we saw the Riddler in the cage. Because Two-Face is in the cage. The first time.
The first time was in the long cage.
Yeah, the Two-Face.
The first was with Riddler because he's. No. Yeah, because he stopped because I remember that Two-Face was the one that had the bat, and he slammed it against the gate.
They both had the bat.
But he didn't. The first time is because Two-Face threw his food first.
Right.
I remember specifically. It was Two-Face first, and then
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You just changed it. Two-Face was first.
Are you sure?
Yes, Two-Face was first. Because Riddler, who goes almost there to me, that was in the second time that we go through it.
I don't remember.
Well, you do because you just said it.
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
You're wrong.
All right. That's fine. That's fair enough. I will say The Conjuring was everything that I expected to be terrifying. Holy shit, that scare with Valak where it's her shadow. I remember you going, Toma. And I was like, what? And then I was like, nope.
Because you'd warned me. Thomas was like, before the event even started, before we even went into the Conjuring house, he was like, if I see that painting, and he's like, and he told us, he's like, if you see those paintings, I'm out of here.
I'm out.
And I was like, okay. And we walked into the very last scene, and they're like, go to the very end. We're gonna go up the stairs, and like Thomas was still looking around.
Yeah.
And I looked right at the wall and I saw the painting and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna like poop himself.
Hell
and I'm like,
yeah.
Toma. Look. And Thomas turns around. He's like,
nope. I started walking back and forth. I'm like, nope. But I'm trapped. So I can't go anywhere. But oh my goodness. The fact that after the shadow goes, you see
the fingies,
the hands wrap around, and then whoosh, she lunges at you. But even before then, The Conjuring, you did a bad thing. And I did a bad thing.
The Conjuring made me feel super guilty because midway through, there was a random...
Because we transitioned between houses.
From houses, from the museum of the Warrens into their house.
Yeah.
And so they... we didn't notice, but there was a lady who had joined the group.
Mr. E noticed, but he didn't say anything. Mr. E.
And
shame.
They were saying, "Oh, make sure you guys have your like paranormal buddies or something like that." And the lady I happened to be next to her, and I was like, "I guess you're my buddy." And she's like, "All right, but you better protect me from scary stuff." And I was like, "All right, I got you. Bet." We go through the first entering the door, and there's like monsters coming out, and she starts screaming. She's like, you said you were gonna protect me," and I was like, "All right, my bad." And they kept scaring her. I was like, "Hey, knock that off." And then we go into the room with the closet.
And with Annabelle. So Annabelle's there in her chair and she's looking at you, and you see you hear the baby screaming, and you see the shadow of the baby, but you see that the baby's dead. And then you see the closet, and or it's more like a wardrobe, but it opens.
And at this moment she's standing facing away from the closet.
Right. She's like right next to me. And then we see the closet door opens and everybody's like, ah! And then we see two hands go out and it goes. And I'm like, oh no, the clapping game.
And then she's like, the clapping game. And then Mr. E goes, yeah, the clapping game. And then Thomas goes, yeah, it's when you go.
No, I didn't even tell her. I was just like, the clapping game. She's like, the clapping game.
No, it was one of you showed her, like, was
about
to show her.
I
think it was probably Mr. E then who, like, he was like, yeah, you go like this. And right as he's about to clap,
she does it.
She claps. And the demon jumps out of the closet, grabs her, and drags her into the closet. And I'm standing there like, I just let this girl die. Oh my God.
We all did. I told her it was called the clapping game, and that was the thing. Oh man. We felt terrible after that. And then of course there was a Valak scene, and then we were out.
The actress who was there, I'm sorry I let you die. If it makes you feel any better, I was the first one into the next room. I went looking for you.
Yes, there we go.
To no avail did I find you.
No, you were gone.
Rest in peace.
There we go. And then after that we did I think after that we did the tour after that.
Yeah, we did.
And you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. It is hot in here, but we're gonna have to wrap this up soon because then we gotta go see Halloween. We're gonna have to wrap this up real soon. Then we went through the tram. The tram definitely needs a lot of work. Lighting wise, the tram was very blah. But I think it was very cool that the entrance to Camp Crystal Lake, you actually go through Elm Street, like the actual Elm Street set. That was great. Lighting was my big issue. There was a good number of scare actors. Lighting was a big thing. Then of course they led us from script to scream. Then we got to see Central Perk, which was my big thing. I've always wanted to go to the studio tour just to go see that set. So of course I was so happy when we were there.
And they had some bomb coffee.
They had some really good coffee. And then we filmed our whole scene. It took like an hour, but it was so worth it. And then after that, then we went, did The Exorcist. Exorcist was good.
Yeah, Exorcist was fun.
It was, I think that the overall experience, the kids from Fuller House were right behind us, and they were screaming the entire time. I thought that was cool. Shout out to all of you. Fuller House set, boom, da-da-da-da-da-da. And then, sure. But so now that we're wrapping this up, I want us to talk about, what did we think was the most disappointing maze?
Okay.
What did we think was the best maze overall? Like the best in terms that it was the most fun. It was like the most well put together.
Okay.
The scariest maze. And then let's just do those three.
Okay.
So, all right, let's start with most disappointed.
Most disappointing maze.
Mm-hmm. The one that you were like, meh.
I think you're going to have to go first.
For me?
Yeah.
I've already been very, very vocal about it. Stranger Things was the most disappointing for me. That's what I'll have to say. That I cannot get over the fact that the Demogorgon looks exactly like a man in a suit.
I think for me also the very worst maze that we went through this.
Well, don't say worst, just say most disappointing.
Most disappointing. I'm sorry. And obviously it takes time and for all this to be made. But
they put their heart and souls into this. But
But the most, I guess, disappointing in what I thought probably would, and I didn't even think. I kind of already knew it. The Horrors of Blumhouse too.
Yeah.
So both of those from Universal.
Oh yeah, definitely. What do you think was the scariest maze that we did?
Scariest maze we did. I'm gonna give it to. Yeah, I'm probably gonna give that to Queen Mary's B340.
See, I'm like, after talking more and more about these events, I'm all over the place. So it's either Feast or Dark Ride for me. But even the Conjuring too, because the Conjuring had those scenes.
See, I would have put Trick or Treat on here, but Trick or Treat
lights out, yeah.
Trick or Treat was short.
Oh, you felt like
I felt it was shorter than everything else. But
I think it's because you blacked out a little bit.
Maybe, probably. I guess my focus was on getting out, but definitely for what I remember, and like at one point, literally, we all kind of just ran. Was B340.
You know what? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna give it to Feast because that was It was so scary that it was beautiful from one part. When you actually see the motors, you see of the ship underneath, you see it in the ocean. That was beautiful, but that's how scary. Because scary is always like a fine line between beautiful and scary and grotesque. Yeah. So okay, and then overall, best maze. What do you think was the best maze this year?
Wow.
It's a doozy one.
Oh wow! Is it getting hot in here?
Yeah, it is. It is getting very, very hot in here.
Wow. You go first.
I mean, I'm just gonna say it because there's no bias here. Universal Monsters, the music, every single one of these mazes had fantastic set designs. I have to say that the effect that both Not Scary Farm and Dark Harbor had of covering so that you don't see it looks like you're wading in water, that was fantastic. But the music of Slash and the fact that it is so engraved in me now that I am listening to it almost on a daily basis, that's what I think this is going to be the most memorable maze that we went through all these different events this entire season. I think that one was just because of how fantastic the music was in telling the story.
I really, 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 it's almost hurting my soul saying that it's not. But I'm not. I would also give it to Universal, but I'm not going to.
That's fine.
I'm not going to give it to Universal Monsters. But don't get me wrong. I know probably people are going to be like, "What?
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine."
But it was that maze is amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing for Horror Nights. But I think the best maze this entire season had to be Dark Ride.
Dark Ride? Yeah.
I think Dark Ride at Not Scary Farm. Okay. Not Scary Farm, you won your boy over.
Okay.
I mean, for one, it's probably the only place I've bought merch from.
That's true. I'm surprised you're not wearing it.
I bought a mug, I bought a hat, and I have a sticker, which is on my laptop now, just to show everybody that I am a Knott's fan.
We just were fans of all of these events. I think that's the overall theme that now we know after this incredible season. Yeah, we're just fans of all of these events.
We like being scared,
and I think that going further with this, going with the next couple of years. Well, I'm going a little ambitious. For the next couple of next few seasons, we're really just going to be focusing on all these events. I mean, Halloween Horror Nights has done so much for us as a community. Yeah. But we want to do more. We want to expand.
We've seen what's out there now, and we we want to be part of it.
Yeah, we want to be part of it, and we want all of you to join us
exactly
in this expansion of the channel, of the content.
Yeah, for all of you TLEV members who have been with us through and through for Horror Nights, we're gonna take you to some different places now.
We're gonna open our minds.
Hopefully, you guys will follow us on this journey, and hopefully, you guys are amazed along with us at some of the amazing creative stuff that's out there in Southern California.
Exactly, and also maybe in Orlando, maybe even doing stuff in France, maybe all of Europe.
We're gonna go straight to
Let's just do Japan. Yeah, Japan. It's insane.
Japan. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. These next few seasons, wherever life takes us, it's gonna be amazing. And we sincerely thank each and every one of you for watching our videos, for supporting us all this haunt season. None of this is possible without you guys. This whole season, this year, the opportunities that we got would have not been possible.
Was brought to us by you.
Yeah, we straight up sound like PBS.
There we go.
With viewers by you.
Viewers like you. Anyway, thank you all so much for listening. And make sure to rate us and to like this video, share it, comment down below.
Yeah.
And of course, my name is Thomas.
I'm Josue.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.